time I close my eyes, I see the night again. In all the dreams I have, I hear the sound of angels cry. Take me back, I need to find those distant memories. Hold on close, only my fire through it all. In all my life, I've been searching for a better world, but time has let me down. Here we stand on this broken land, raise my head up high, I can see the sun. We are the children with fire in the sky, and we are the future. Our souls in the night will never die. Feel the change, it seems it's like the same old day to me. Nothing here I have to live before they capture me. In all my life I've been searching for a better world, but time has let me down. Here we stand on this broken land, raise my head up high, I can see the sun. We are the children with fire in the sky. We are the future. Our souls in the night will never
It is Thursday night, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. I obviously am one half of the former national taping champions, Dixie Dave, along with my co-host.
Crusher Crossen, 5-time NWF World Champion. That has such a nice ring to it.
And you know, Crusher, this week we got to let our fans know. We apologize if you were looking forward to Jason Clausen tonight, but as happens at Wrestling Cards, card is subject to change due to logistical issues. Jason couldn't make it tonight. We're working on rescheduling him.
Yep, and he really was looking forward to it too. So we will get him. It's just going to be either, the next week or 2 or 3, whenever it works for him, that we can get him on again. So he will be coming. So we're going to kind of change gears a little bit here, and I'm going to save that episode, that Fred Moore episode, for when Jason does come on, that we were going to play tonight, and we're going to just roll with what we're going to go with next week. Actually, we're going to do it this week, and that is going to be, we're going back to the garage.
All right. I'd like to say hello to David again this week.
Yep, David Hilt from New York, Pennsylvania. Yep. So yeah.
To our viewers watching both on Facebook and on YouTube, Crusher Cross and I have been talking about something. We have an anniversary coming up. It's 39th anniversary next month.
That it is. And what we're thinking of doing is, it's the 39th anniversary, but coming up next month is going to be the week of May 9th. Obviously, we're going to do a watch along with the first Armored card that happened May 9th. And what I thought would be kind of fun, Dave, is let's open up our guest link to everybody.
Yep, be it fan, be it alumni.
Yep.
No matter who it is, you're welcome to come in and say hi, make your presence known.
Don't have to stay for the whole show. If you just want to come in, say hi, hello, whatever, ask a question or two. But we want to open it up to everybody, including the alumni. So anybody who, any of the wrestlers that want to jump on and say hello for that, because we have a lot that were on that show, Dave. I mean, you were in attendance.
Yeah. Yep, I was front row ringside.
Yeah. And
if you watch the documentary, you might catch a glimpse of Dixie Dave prior to becoming Dixie Dave.
I remember I asked you, Dave, I said, what was going through your mind when you're in the crowd? And you said, really what was going through your mind is, how can I get to be a part of this?
Well, Crusher, you've known me now for, 37 years almost.
Yeah, a long time.
And in that time, one thing that you know about me is I was a diehard wrestling fan from day one.
Yeah.
And it had always been a dream to wrestle, and I didn't care what avenue I had to take to get into it. I wanted to get into it.
Yeah. And that's what it was like for everybody, honestly. All the kids that came through the show, it was like, it was your dream. And everybody, that's the one thing that all of our viewers can relate with, whether they were a part of the NWF or not. They know what it was like when they were a kid. And that, just think, the idea there's a wrestling organization where you're a kid and you can be a part of it and live out your dreams and your fantasies. Who wouldn't want to be a part of that if you were a fan, right? Into wrestling. So it's like, that's a no-brainer. So, and then a lot of kids did things, Dave. They may have not recorded it, but they did these kind of things with their friends. Maybe not with the professional ring and everything, but they certainly did a lot of parallels.
Right. I mean, like when I met Jamie, he was doing a little wrestling league in his bedroom.
Yeah, Jamie McFarland.
And I told him about the NWF, and he jumped in with us.
Yeah. Looking forward to having Jamie come back on with us again. You're going to be away one of these weeks coming up. And
yep, May 18th, I will be away. I have a family event that weekend. And depending on the scheduling of everything, I may still drop in and say hi.
Yeah, so Jamie was going to be Jamie is going to be the replacement for Dixie Dave that week. He's just going to co-host with me. So I'm looking forward to talking to Jamie again. But yeah, so today's show, we're going to go to the garage studio, the very first garage studio taping, the one when Tronson booted us out of Group W Studios, that we wound up in the garage, and this was the first one. And it's an interesting show because title matches at this time were shoots. Okay.
Yep.
So the title match on this show was Ace against Roughhouse Roberts, and I'm not going to say what happens, but we'll talk about it when it happens.
Right.
A little bit of backdoor politics, let's just say that took place on this one. And
what a shock! Politics in pro wrestling.
Yeah. And so that's one of the big matches. Also on this show, you'll see I'm doing these in this show. I'm doing all these little introductions at a desk for, before the match, kind of announcing what the match is going to be. And you'll notice my lip is just busted up. And that's because in this match, I took a face plant in the ring. I had a Boston Crab on a kid, and the other kid jumped on my back. And when you got a Boston Crab, you don't have your arms. So all his weight just pushed my face right into the mat, and I put my tooth through my lip. It was bad. That wasn't a razor blade. That wasn't fake blood. That was blood, real blood from my lip. And I should have got stitches, but I hated stitches those at that age.
That's one of the reasons why a lot of companies say don't try this at home.
Yeah, that was that hurt. There's literally a hole through my lip. So so those are the two kind of highlights from this one. But so we're just, Dave, we're gonna watch this show. We're not gonna have Jason with us, obviously, because what happened was he had a job out of state and he got held up on it, and he just isn't gonna be back in time. So he's
right.
Definitely wants to reschedule though, so we're gonna get him on maybe next week or whatever. We got to see what his schedule is, but we're gonna work it out and get him on a future show for sure. So that being said, and like Dave said, remember this, folks, that first week of May, or I think second week of May, I don't know what it is, that May 11th show.
Yep, May 11th.
We're going to give you the guest link. And basically, you know, to be a guest on our show as fans, you can just, a smartphone's all you need, bare minimum. You know, computer with the webcam works better, but the smartphone will certainly work.
Hey, our first episode I did on a smartphone.
Yeah. It's not, you don't have to download any software, anything crazy like that. It's just, you get a link, you know, on a website link, you pick it, and you got to get permission to your camera and microphone, whether it be on your phone or the computer, and you're in.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool that way.
Real easy.
Yeah, that's cool. And maybe even get some of the former wrestlers or even past guests to jump on with us again for a little bit for that May 9th card. I know like Rock and Ronabomb was on it. Maybe he wants to jump on. And Pretty Boy Taylor, the Super D's, yeah, all of them, yeah. And anybody who wasn't on the show is certainly welcome to come on as an alumni. Everybody's going to be welcome for that. It's open. I call it like the open guest week.
Right.
So
I mean, you know, we want to interact with our audience.
Yep. And Dave, this is going to kind of just show you what we're going to watch today. This would have been next week, but we're going to go with it this week because we didn't have a guest scheduled next week. So this is NWF TV Taping 38 from the garage. It was recorded on April 6th, 1985.
All right.
This is the show we're going to watch right now. So I will pull it in and we'll start streaming it.
All right.
Of course, we got the intro as usual. And again, very first taping in the garage. This is where Tronson thought he had us by kicking us out of the studio. He couldn't have done us more of a favor, Dave.
Exactly.
Going into the garage was the best thing for the league. It was the pivotal point. It was the springboard to the Armory events.
Exactly.
Major League of Professional.
You can see my bottom lip is messed up here.
To the ring now. We got a National Wrestling Federation live hookup now to Los Angeles, California, in the LA Auditorium.
Yeah, we're going back to the LA Auditorium, Dave.
Now to the first match here with Luxury Lane versus
Little kayfabe there.
Walker. Let's join that match in progress.
Yeah, Superfly Rich. I wish I could get a hold of him. Of course, Luxury Lane, we know who that is.
Yep.
Superfly Rich, though, Rich Walker, he was a diehard for that time period on the show. Big time wrestling fan. I remember I went over to his apartment in Anoka where he lived, and him and his brother, and the walls were just flooded with posters of wrestlers.
Yep.
We're all set for the first match. National Wrestling Federation Kids Nation.
But I can't get a hold of him. I have no clue where he is anymore. Yeah, I know he lived in northern Minnesota for a while.
But we're ready for the first match.
You know, Crusher, there's one thing that I have to go back to that you mentioned earlier. You were talking about how other kids had put on, you know, possibly put on companies like this.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
But did they have the gumption to professionally record it and distribute it out to multiple?
Right. I don't want to make it sound like there were kids. What I meant by that, Dave, is that kids had the same ambition that we had. They just didn't take it to the same level.
Right.
You know what I mean?
My manager, I don't want to have anything to do with it.
But kids obviously wanted to, but they just didn't have the means or to figure it out or to do it.
And you know why I've been going on the other guy's side? Madman Nash has offered me one half.
This is where I turned heel, Dave. I'm talking about it here.
Making twice as much. So what do I care about? Merciless, you paid me the lowest in the whole group. His opponent from Missouri, Rich, Superfly Rich. I'm lost.
Yeah, Superfly Rich.
And you've been gone. Where have you been?
Florida.
I believe this was his last show. No, it wasn't. He showed up on the next show, but then that was it for Superfly Rich. He ended up moving out of the area.
Ah, bummer.
Get down
Yeah.
to the ringside.
He really was from Missouri, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not a kayfabe there. Luxury Lane. I'm really hoping to get him on as a guest very soon. I mean, we're just trying to work out the logistics on that with him. He's super busy, but we're gonna get Luxury on the show for sure.
You know, life makes us all busy.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
just a matter.
Luxury comes back.
It's just a matter of
Luxury's taking him.
making the time.
Better do something
Yep.
fast. Oh, and he gets a good move on Luxury.
God. Okay, another thing I forgot about.
Oh,
So the commentator on this is Allison Givens, late female commentator,
Luxury.
a good friend of mine in the neighborhood. So she asked, she wanted to do this. I'm like, I'm cool with it. So she came on and is a guest commentator. And I don't think, gosh, have they ever had lady commentators? They certainly didn't in the 80s.
No, not in the 80s. I remember a few years ago, WWE had a female commentator,
Yeah.
but it's just been like in the last 5 years.
Recently, yeah. So she was, she's commentating, and she does a good job of it too, actually. And she was kind of a tomboy though. Allison was. Yeah. She was very into all the sports and everything, very athletic.
Uh-oh, we got full Nelson.
Yep, full Nelson. And people have asked me too, did you ever have lady wrestlers, girl wrestlers? We never did. NWF never
No.
did.
I think, honestly, I think we've only, including Allison, we've only had 2.
Yeah, the valet, Jamie's valet,
Yep.
and but remember, in the 80s, ladies wrestlers were just kind of an attraction.
Right.
You know, they'd come in like the midgets. So
Right.
it wasn't like a regular thing like it is today. Now this ring, so what it is, it's our ring, our 4 ropes and posts that we had at Group W has been just brought into and we made the platform and in the garage. Now this ring is only like about, I think it's 10 by 10 at this point in time, but when Steve Engstrom joins, which by the way, he joins on this show, Steve Engstrom does.
Okay.
This is his first show. He ends up making all sorts of improvements to the ring along with me, making that ring bigger.
Oh, and he's out of the ring. Another unbelievable strength by the old Lux.
You know, Lane, so the reason Charlie's on the show, he had moved into Omaha, Nebraska, but he was up visiting for Easter. And
Right.
This was Easter weekend, I think. And, or the week of Easter, and so he's just in town.
Right. Well, you know, I guess it's kind of good timing for this show then.
Yep.
You know, with the Easter holiday just passing.
Yep. You know what's kind of cool is this, so the ring, the posts and stuff, you notice we do have metal, we don't have the bungee cords anymore, so you can actually hit the ropes. They're
Right.
not actual turnbuckles either, they're just eye bolts. Eventually we get turnbuckles on them, but notice the posts are wood though. It was, I think, the next show or the show after I told you that story. I was showing my friends how this ring worked, and I busted one of these posts by hitting the ropes really hard. Went flying out of the ring. And I remember telling my dad about it, and he's like, I said, Dad, I know you down at the Energy Center got lots of metal. Do you have any pipes, posts? And he's like, I could brown some up. So he got me 4 metal posts, which if I had to buy those would be a fortune.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but he got me them. And that served its purpose. We didn't have ring posts breaking anymore. That's Adam Nash reffing, Dynamite Dude.
Oh, okay.
Anytime Charlie was around, the Nashes were always around. They were big fans of Charlie. And they looked up to him. The neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, unbelievable.
Oh yeah,
That's the thing. That's the
Allison's
thing with
really into it.
Oh, actually,
She
he's
is.
using it now. Superfly
And
is with his own
but that's the
head. They're
thing. This
both
is
in it now.
Charlie was, or Chuck Lane as he likes to be called now, but I still call him Charlie. But he was
Oh,
a Pied
he's going
Piper
over.
in popularity. Lots of kids wanted to come on the show just because he was on the show. He was very popular in school.
Superfly is in pain.
So that's why I always let Charlie take care of the recruiting. He could bring in all the kids, no problem. He'd always get kids coming in.
Oh, that.
Ring mat is just that
What's that
really
called?
fine type Berber carpeting type carpet
Yeah.
that we had. We didn't have an actual ring apron yet. So you literally got rug burns on this ring.
Out of the ring again. Unbelievable strength by the old Lux.
Rich is pretty good at going out of the ring.
From Omaha, Nebraska,
Yep.
and Superfly from Missouri.
Little quick on getting up.
For this great match.
Yeah, well,
And they're getting it
yeah, they're
too.
we're all kids, you know.
Luxury comes out
Yep.
strong, giving a couple blows to the head. Oh, did he get? Oh, he throws him down.
I kind of wished we would have had somebody commentating with Allison. That would have made it a little better.
Boston Crab, the old
So the reason we got, so what we did to make the ring bigger, you notice how the ring barely fits in there as it is?
Yep.
Well, we're not all the way to the wall, to the
Oh, okay.
walls. So we end up cleaning the stuff out behind it, and we end up making that area bigger so we could make the ring
Luxury's in
bigger.
pain.
Right.
So we eventually did.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He got the pin. 3 code. Luxury wins. I know he's gonna move.
Goes to luxury lane.
What?
Say the official pin goes to luxury lane.
The official pin goes to luxury lane. You break it up. Oh, the ref is getting into this now. Break this up. Security in here. We'll be right back.
It's security in here.
National Wrestling Federation. Very extraordinary match there. Luxury Lane from Omaha, Nebraska just got done wrestling Superfly Rich. Luxury Pin Superfly. Very impressive match with 6 minutes and 42 seconds into the whole thing. Now we're going to go back to LA in this live hookup by my dad, where we're going to see Crusher Cross to go against the Dynamite Dude in a special heavyweight, lightweight match spectacular.
I'm looking at these things on the wall, Dave. That we appreciate you as a certificate from Group W Cable for our show.
Right.
The other thing on the wall looked like it was like a chart of some kind. I believe that was our time slot schedule for the Metro.
Oh, okay.
I'll show you that again when we come to that scene. Yeah, Mike was the one handling all the recruiting, so like Mike's the one that recruited Steve Engstrom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
WF action. Entering the ring now. Crusher Crosser.
There's Ace Andrew Carlson. Looking forward to seeing him as a guest coming up here in a few weeks as well.
Nash.
Yep.
Who is my tag team, and not to mention Ace, who is not going to lose that belt to Rough House. I'll see to that. I don't have the belt. And I'm certainly glad I lost it to somebody who's capable of holding it.
Yeah, being a heel.
Entering the ring.
Being a heel.
Out of California.
It's always fun being a heel.
Yeah.
J Stud or something like that. I can't remember. Oh, Dynamite Dude. I can't remember. He changes his name so often.
That he did. He wanted to be CJ Superstud. He wanted to be Dynamite Dude. We kept calling him Dynamite Dude, though.
I just gotta say that I think Crusher is a little. Shouldn't say, but Madman's gonna win. That's basically all.
That's hard to say. And now down to ringside with more commentary.
You know, the young guys are a little with Allison there. You can kind of see the influence there a little bit.
Oh, what a blow
Seems like some of the guys are getting a little flustered.
Yep, a little bit.
Oh, Madman is giving him.
But you know, so Adam and I kind of worked out a little routine for this match. I remember that, and so there's like spots in here that we kind of had practiced in a little bit, and
Not ringside. We're gonna have a. What do you call it?
He's just a tough little kid though. He really was. I remember I told you the story about the ice house, the warming house.
My title
Yep.
defense for Ace, when I wrestle him, I'm not going to win. He says he's going to see to it. Well, we'll just see about that. I'd just like to see Crusher stop me from taking that belt.
That's Rough House Roberts talking about his title match today. He's the one who got a title match with Ace today.
I'm not taking on Crusher. I'm taking on Ace.
Well. So how long you been in the old wrestling show here, Rough House?
Longer than you.
Yeah, I wish we would have paid a little more attention to what we're wearing in the ring here. You know, I got this polo shirt on, and we should have been more. We should have looked more the part.
You know, this is still
Oh, Madman, he is.
in the early phases of the NWF.
It's true. Yeah, still developing the league.
Oh, Crusher is.
But like I said, when Tronson kicked us out of the Group W studios, best thing that ever happened. And not at the time. At the time, I thought, my gosh, now what are we going to do? But going into the garage was the best thing because it allowed us to grow where we couldn't in Group W. The ring was just too limited. It was just no way we're going to get any better than we were. Part of what made us grow in this garage is there was nobody overseeing us anymore. No adults in charge or anything. It was us. It was our space, our time.
Yep. You could do tapings whenever you wanted. You didn't have to.
Yep. I might do a little bit of a leapfrog there. Adam, if he would have stuck with the show, would have been a really good wrestler. He would have turned into a good one because he was he just was athletic and, willing to do all the moves, and he wasn't afraid to take the bumps.
Picks him up, smash to the head, turns him into the turnbuckles. Smushing him up against the turnbuckles. That lets all the air out of your lungs.
Looks like Allison's taking a break from commentating. What's that?
Oh, I was going to say, plus, with you crushing them in the corner, it gives you a chance to communicate a little bit.
I'm just thinking the Andre the Giant type size difference here. That's what he would do, so.
Feisty here, aren't we? Couple blows to the chest, to the head. Irish whip into the ropes, and drop kick sends Crusher flying to the mat.
Yeah, this is a little bit more selling than I'm used to seeing Crusher doing.
Yeah, I don't even have the influence of Steve yet, because Steve just joined.
Oh, did you see that? Good body slam by Dynamite Dude. Picks up the big guy. It's on the second rope. Did you see our studio is falling apart? Oh, and he whips him down on the ropes.
Yeah, the problem is our camera is so close we can't get a good shot of the ring. It took us a while to figure out how to set the camera up for these things.
Oh, this is amazing.
The best thing we did is when we put the camera in the corner and got that nice angled shot.
Right.
But that was a few shows later that we figured that out.
Yeah, maximize your space.
But this, I can tell that we're using one of the 3/4 inch camera units, not the normal 1/2 inch camera units, which are like VHS.
Right.
So this is the Sony U-matic 3/4 inch camera units. So the quality, the color, the bit rate on this was better, so you got better color. It looks, this video looks a little bit better on these units. It's a wider tape.
Right.
Getting into this here. Oh, no. Oh, now Madman. what's his name? Dynamite is coming back. Oh,
Well, there's Mr. X.
who do you got? Mask Man on the corner here. Come on, Batman. Oh, what an amazing. Folks,
And there he is, Steve Engstrom, Mr. X, the
Dynamite
official debut.
Dude and Crusher Crossen at ringside.
First appearance on camera.
Don't go away.
Yep.
This is a great match here. You want to see some good wrestling? You just wait to the next. What am I talking about?
We had another new wrestler on the show too, Bullet Shot Glenn. We'll see him in a little bit here. He was from Minneapolis. He was watching from Minneapolis, and his parents brought him. So his parents were actually in attendance.
Oh, okay.
Crashing to the floor.
Because he was a really little guy.
Oh, power body.
You'll see him
okay.
coming up here.
Splash.
But he never came back. It was just, it was like I said, a lot of the kids, they were one and done. This is one of them.
He's gonna jump on him. Oh, and squashes him. With more commentary here from Merciless Mike.
As you can see, if we can get the camera to swing over here. Hey, can we get the camera? This is my new main man that I've gotten to go against the Crusher. All right, woo! Crusher, you're a goner. So are you, Ace.
The official decision is
Dynamite Dude won? No, it's the Dynamite Dude. No. Okay, the match was a draw.
Nah, actually, Dynamite Dude won.
Later for more action.
Tell you that match far-fetched. Let me
So yeah, that chart up there, Dave, on the right, that's our Twin Cities Metro time slots.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I tell you that match,
That Group W Courier thing, that was a first newspaper article they did on us.
Now let's go back up to the ring.
I don't know what that other
for
red
our
thing is.
Lightweight tag team spectacular of the day. Let's go back to LA to see Mean Dean and Great Givens, two new lightweight.
Great Givens, Ryan Givens, that would be.
Dynamite Dude and filling it in for Rough Ryan.
Another one and done.
Shot. Let's join that match back to LA with more commentary, spectacular wrestling, NWF action. Let's go join them.
So yeah, this is that Bullet Shot Glenn. He was watching UC Video had us on in Minneapolis and St. Paul. We had just got set up with them, and so they were airing our shows and on Saturday mornings. And he was just one of the Minneapolis residents that just wanted to come on the show, and his parents brought him to it. And I remember his parents got a kick out of it watching him in there. They were really entertained with him in there in the ring.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the NWF. Okay, our next match is going to be Mean Dean and the Great Givens coming out now.
So Ryan Givens, yeah, that's another kid from the neighborhood. But Mean Dean, this is his debut. This is Andrew Carlson's brother.
Fairly new wrestlers.
Oh, okay.
Do you guys feel that you can match up against the Dynamite Dude, which is our most experienced wrestler, and another new wrestler named Bullet Shot? Do you guys think you can really beat these guys?
Yeah,
We'll
easy.
kill 'em. Easy? Well, we'll see how you match up. Okay, now coming in, Bullet Shot and the Dynamite Dude. Bullet Shot. Okay.
So obviously-
you do have the most experience in this wrestling. How do you feel that these new wrestlers, newcomers, will match up and also be as a tag team partner?
Tell you the truth, this guy, you see he's a little smaller than most of them. But I think he can pretty much quicker and he can beat him, I think. Even though these guys are punks.
What do you have for a word?
I can do it great. I'll be able to beat him up. And they must be like Jesse says they must live in Turkey Town.
Turkey Town, USA. And our rep, Charlie Lane.
Charlie Lane.
And now down to Allison.
Okay, we have a question from a Facebook user.
Looks like that's Tom Huben. He's watching on Facebook. Hi, I should put that link up again, Dave, to remind Facebook users how they show up properly. We'll get to that later, but you know, the popularity thing, yes, we were popular in the sense that people knew you were on the show, but not everybody was fans of wrestling.
Right.
This is incredible.
And if they weren't a fan of, like, for those who weren't fans of wrestling, they thought professional wrestling was a joke, and there were a lot of kids that were like that, believe it or not. Well, they didn't think what you were doing was any good. You know, they're you know, if they didn't like regular wrestling, they're sure as heck not gonna like what we were doing. Or think it's, you know, think it was a joke. So yeah, you had a little mix of that. It just depended who it was.
Don't go away.
You know, and it's obviously the ones that were really thought it was cool were the ones that you eventually would join the show. You know.
Right.
There was also, Dave, a lot of kids that wanted to join the show, but their parents wouldn't let them.
Exactly.
I know that for a fact.
You know, this is the NWF. Finest thing, kids.
Not every parent was willing to let their kids go into this ring and do all this stuff.
Right. I know my mom used to say when she'd come to like the armories that we did,
Yeah.
she'd be watching the matches through her hand.
Yeah. Well, Dazowski's mom didn't want him to wrestle on the 1 October card because they had a soccer camp to go to, and she didn't want to risk him getting hurt. Matt's mom did the same thing with him for a hockey camp.
Yep.
So, you know, and it's not that they didn't trust us; they just didn't want to have that chance that would happen, and they had all this money invested for these camps.
Right.
And that's more what it is. They just didn't want to risk it, you know.
Glad they're not on both on the same side, or we might have a little disaster on our hands here. Takes off,
And with the Dazowskis, it paid off in the long run for them.
Great given.
It sure did.
Irish whip into the ropes. Another Irish whip comes back. Oh,
Yeah, Ryan's pretty quick too. You know, now it's interesting. Dynamite Dude and Ryan Givens, Adam Nash, they lived next door to each other, grew up, fought all the time, for real. You know, and getting little squabbles in the neighborhood. So they were totally comfortable with each other in the ring here. But you can see this match has a little bit of shoot going on here in the whole dang thing, especially with Bullet Shot Glenn. He didn't know. he's just like a little tank in there when he gets in.
Tries to pick him up.
You know, he's kind of a little stocky kid and smaller than most, but
Mean Dean and Dynamite
like watch when he comes in here, he just
Oh, here we go, Bullet Shot.
he just goes to town.
Oh, he can't
And I remember his parents are
sweat.
just
He is a
in
quick little
stitches
devil.
laughing watching him in this ring.
Mean Dean is taking over. Oh, here comes a great Givens. Get him out of there. Oh, and the great Dynamite is
Who's reffing? Is that me?
mad. And the great
Oh no,
Givens is
it's
on top
Charlie
of
Lane.
Bullet
Luxury
Shot.
Lane reffing.
How many minutes? God, get all these people out of the ring. We got the whole.
Well, that could have been considered a DQ right there.
Outside interference?
30
Yep.
seconds left in this match.
Yeah. Some commotion going on here. I don't know what's happening.
19, 18.
It sounds like the time limit's going to run out.
15, 14,
Unless Ryan pins him. I don't remember. Ace counts it.
9. 5 seconds left in this match. 4, 3.
That was a Luxury Lane quick count was what that was.
That's how it goes, huh, guys?
Oh boy.
We're gonna have to talk to Luxury Lane about his fast counts.
Yep. Adam was a real showman though. He just loved the. Adam Nash really loved doing this stuff. I wished he would have stuck with it. He really was. We could have done a lot with him.
Will be plenty more like it soon to come on NWF Action. But looking at the card, first we got a 6-man tag spectacular.
I don't know. For some reason, I like doing these little intros to the matches. I did this a lot during the garage days.
Go against Merciless Mike Ackerman Roughhouse Roberts, and get this, Mr. X. Let's go join that
Mr.
match now.
X.
In progress.
So yeah, this is the match where I put my tooth through my lip. This 6-man tag. It was
Oh, okay.
Roughhouse Roberts who jumped on my back. Yep.
And as we've said before, ladies and gentlemen, that number is no longer in effect.
Yep.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for more NWF action. We have a 6-man tag team coming up now, and now entering the ring, Crusher Crossen, Madman Nash, and Superfly Rich. And now, the other team.
So Madman Nash, that's Adam's older brother.
Right.
Merciless Mike and
Derek Nash was his name. He was.
Mr. X.
I always liked his character.
I don't know about this guy. He's like another Andre the Giant. Hey, settle down.
He's a small guy, but to us he was big.
Right.
He doesn't know how to get off the ropes. Settle down.
Gonna get him last thing on earth. Ring the bell.
Okay, now back for some commentary by Allison Givens. Now you'll be known.
There's some conflict here between the two teams, but I do have to say that Crusher's team is gonna take it.
Yeah, like
Oh, here comes
I said, Allison was a good friend, so if you're a little biased, you can say that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be
Charlie was good friends with her too.
Mr. X.
You know, we all were.
Taking over.
So this is our debut of Mr. X, Dave. This is the first time Steve in the ring.
Mr. X is giving the body hold. And now Superfly is on top. Mr. X does a BO.
Rich with his feet on the ropes blatantly.
Conflict between these two
So
teams.
Ryan Givens is
Exactly.
I
reffing.
think we can handle it.
First time ever, so he's just not on top of stuff. You'll see a lot of the guys yelling at him in this match, you know, to count or whatever.
Oh, he's got him in the headlock. So
I know Mike
Superfly-
gets really mad at him because he doesn't count.
Oh, and he tries to take, and he does it. Here comes the great Merciless Mike. Crusher and Merciless here.
You know, Mike and I have always had a long on and off feud anyway. We used to feud way back when, and then we became a tag team, and
So Dynamite
now we're
Wrestling
enemies again.
Wrestling Show.
Well, I say about 10 years, I would say.
Where do you come from, Dynamite?
California.
People come from all over the world to this wrestling show, and if you want to be in this wrestling show, just call old Crusher. His number is 421-8366. Just ask for Crusher.
Yeah, 8366. That was that was where I got my own phone line. That was so cool to have my own phone.
Dynamite.
You know, not the normal house phone. Because my mom got tired of the house phone ringing for NWF. So she literally got me my own phone. Because it was ringing like crazy, Dave, our house phone. I used to put our number out there.
So Dynamite, do you like this wrestling show?
Well, there's too many wimps in it. That's all I gotta say. There's too many wimps.
Dynamite, let me tell you this.
You know, Chuck Roberts running the ring, Rough House with Madman. He's the one that gets the title shot with Ace. Roberts knew how to wrestle. So for a shoot title match,
Okay, now here we go.
that's problems for Andrew.
Yep.
Lightweight, heavyweight.
And we'll see that coming up here.
NWF.
Okay, now we're on
Not going to give anything away, but it's going to be problems. Let's just say that.
And now,
You got somebody who knows how to wrestle and is a shoot.
gives him a kick to the face. Madman is mad. There's 2 minutes left in this match, and Ruffles is taking over Superfly. Superfly now. Ruffles takes it over.
You know, so because these title matches were shoots, there was a lot of animosity between your different teams of wanting to get the belt. So when a
Right.
title match would come up, like today,
Here's Madman.
Merciless side, they want the belt. So they're you know, this is legitimately for real. They want the belt, and it's not decided, predetermined.
Kitty Knight control.
Right.
Right.
So you'll hear this in the interviews and before and after the match. You'll see the,
I think Mr.
you know,
X
the
should
emotions
be-
coming out of it with
I do not
everybody.
think the Ace should have that.
The emotions were real.
1 minute left.
Yeah.
I do not think the Ace should have that title. I think Mr. X should take over. Old Ace over there is sitting over there, and I do not think he should have that belt. I think that Mr. X could dominate the old Ace. I think they should wrestle today. And if you want to see them
Mr.
in action,
X.
you gotta stay tuned to the NWF. There is
Steve was good right out of the gate though.
there's
I
1
always
minute
thought. I
left
mean, as
in
far
the
as
match.
selling and shit.
Now Mr. X,
Right.
Crusher just got a thigh shot. Now here comes Merciless. Oh, Merciless takes all 3 of them into the turnbuckles. There is exactly 45 seconds
Now,
left
Rich
in
may
this
have
match.
not. You might have thought Rich
Merciless
didn't sell that double
is
headbutt thing there, Dave, but
sinking.
his
Oh,
thing was a
Merciless.
headbutt. So that's why a headbutt, getting his head banged isn't going to affect him. That's why he didn't sell
Crusher
it.
just gives him a blow to the
Yep.
head. Merciless is in pain, folks. I gotta say.
Oh yeah, I'm going for that Boston Crab. This is where it happens, man. Face first into the ring mat here.
25 seconds left in the match. Oh, and he goes
Once I get it
blow to the
applied.
head for Merciless. Crusher is
Mike's fighting me
dominating,
on it.
I have to say. But Mr. X should have that title. Ace does not deserve it.
I think Ace is sort of like a wimp. He shouldn't have it one bit.
Now watch Roberts.
And the ref, he doesn't have
5 seconds left. 5, 4, 3.
Boom!
Right there.
Here, Crusher. His lip is cut bad, folks. Blood is dripping out. He is hurt. See, folks, if you want to be in this wrestling show, you gotta be.
You know, and then you think parents hear about this happening, like they're not going to let their kids ever come back to this thing, right?
Mr. X is
But-
taking
Right.
over.
It was.
Crusher
It could have
is
been worse.
Getting out of the ring.
Oh, yeah.
He is in pain.
And you know, accidents
Here
happen.
we are with the Ace with some
Yep.
commentary.
I mean, I don't
Well, you
blame
see,
Chuck.
Crusher
He didn't
there,
realize what he
that
was,
fat
you know,
guy, that big
gonna
Andre
happen,
the
but-
Giant or whatever his name is, Dr. X or whatever, he came down pretty hard. The match is officially over, but the 6 people still go at it. Ladies and gentlemen,
Try to get a slow-mo of it, I think.
Here, Rough House Robert pushes Crusher, as you can see on your screen. Crusher goes face forward into the mat, and that's all she wrote. As you can see on your screen now, this is exactly how it is. Crusher's face forward into the mat. Crusher's lip is severely hurt. He will need stitches, I can guarantee you that. More on this next
Yeah,
week.
I should have went and got
Let's go back
stitches.
to the ring.
My mom wanted to take me. So nope, I don't want them. Those needles hurt. You ever get stitches, Dave?
Oh, yeah.
Ah, it's like getting stung by a bee.
Split his lip wide open, I did.
So as a kid, I'm like, I don't want them stitches. I'll let it heal on its own.
Next match, Luxury Lane, Merciless Mike Ackerman, tag team to go against Madman Nash and Ace.
We had our own ways of dealing with stuff like that back in the day.
Yeah. Luxury Lane and Merciless Mike versus Madman Nash and Ace. And everybody's still pretty fired up from the matches. Looks like it was an interview with Mike and Luxury.
Merciless Mike. Luxury Lane.
Yeah, Mike had a computer, one of those Apples, and they could make
Yep.
printouts like this.
There's a break off right here.
Back in those days, though, nobody had computers, so it was like a real
Crusher,
rarity.
you're dead. You're out. Whew. Merciless Mike and Luxury Lane.
Here we are live with the Ace Carlson and Madman Nash vs.
There's
Luxury
Allison
Lane
there.
and Merciless Merciless Mike. And entering
Oh,
the ring
okay.
is Ace and Madman. And now entering the ring is Luxury Lane and Merciless Mike. This is going to be a great matchup between these.
You saw our presentation about Crusher there. He'll find out about it. Hang loose because these guys hang loose because we're gonna win. Sit down and watch us. And now to just get out of here, Robert.
Trying to get that cord out of the ring.
Yep. We still don't have a bell yet. I think Steve brings us the bell next show, the official bell. Where we have an actually working bell.
Here we are. Here we go with another great matchup. But opinion, I think Ace.
So you know what the bells were in the early days then, Dave?
Waste.
A frying pan.
And beside me is
No, not the pan, the kettle top and a wrench.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why you'd always hear people like Peter's like, he's got a wrench! Because we had a wrench at ringside to do the bell. And
Save it.
a lot of times the kids would get the wrench and use it as a foreign object.
There we go, folks. We got another great, exciting match here. We got Madman Nash and Merciless Mike, and I'll hand it over to Anonymous here.
Here we are with Madman Nash and Merciless Mike with a great matchup. And Madman does arm breaker.
Yeah, Ryan roughing again, and
Ace Carlson to take over Merciless. Merciless is in pain. And the Great Givens breaks it up.
Mike!
And Ace. Merciless is in pain. Ace is taking over. Now Merciless. They are mad. This is for the title, guys. This is a great match.
Break it up! Nope, I'm not gonna break this.
is this for the title? Yeah, it would be because Madman Nash controlled the belts.
Under the
So-
legs of Merciless Mike.
They had the Madman had the belts at this time.
Oh, okay.
Andrew's just filling in for I think Todd Campa, who didn't make
But
it.
it does not work. Ace is too quick for the old Luxury.
Ace!
Now Ace is doing the full Nelson. I know that one.
Yeah! Say you want to take my hands on luxury! This is Ace's!
Mike just tags himself in. Charlie doesn't want to get out of the ring. Yeah, this looks to me like a little bit of a shoot match
Yep.
Luxury Lanes ahead, Madman Nash.
because they're really working
Try
this.
so many of the ropes. Stubborn Madman.
Yeah, well, it is because it's a title match.
Chop to the
So yeah, of course it's a shoot match.
rolls him over.
My thinking.
Some sort of attempt to make a pin on him.
You can see how the matches are different when they're title matches, huh, Dave? When they're shoots,
Exactly.
they're just trying to win.
Whoa, did you see that takedown?
You know, and at the time I thought I'm being fair, right?
Right.
The right thing to do because I'm being fair. I'm not being biased or anything. But looking in hindsight, it was totally wrong thing to do.
Get him in. Oh, a little bit of a pile
And
driver there. Seems to-
eventually we figured it out.
Ace here,
Little bit of rough feelings
kind of
sometimes.
scissors.
Well, yeah, just a number of things go wrong. First of all, the match isn't as entertaining. It's like school wrestling at some point, and right, like amateur wrestling type thing, and
Flips him up.
it's not as entertaining as professional style.
Trying to get him into a Boston Crab. Oh. Now he's sitting on him, squashing him.
Mike doesn't want to tag out; he just wants to stay in there.
Got a tag off here, but both opponents. Oh, all four men. The ref is trying to get things in order here.
Trying to get some control in the situation.
Dynamite
Ryan
Dave.
doesn't know what
Oh, we
to
got a
do.
big fisticuffs here.
I'm watching him as a ref, and he's like, "I don't." You just
In the ring, we have Ace and
He's
Luxury
trying to
Lane.
keep
Ace
action,
getting
but-
into a Boston Crab.
Look at the ropes over here. This thing might break.
Turnbuckles seem to be coming apart or something here. Tries to get him apart.
You know, they're shoots, but at the same time, so it's a shoot match, but at the same time, you can see a little bit of
in this match.
A little bit of communication.
a little bit of work, but more shoot than work. Especially when the match starts getting towards the end, and when the time limit starts to run out on these matches.
Irish whip.
You know, when you start getting close to the end of the thing. That's when you start seeing tempers flying. Mike is one to always lose his temper in these title matches when it doesn't go his way.
He is rather large. Shoulder block. Spins him around. Puts him up against the ropes.
I don't know what Adam's doing up
Spins him
there.
into the mat.
He's in the way of the camera.
All four wrestlers seem
Trying to get some screen time, man.
Yeah.
You know when I'm laying on the ground. Come on, Merciless.
2 minutes left.
So now they know it's 2 minutes left, so they're gonna really try to win here.
That was when things really kick in.
I think our ref here is not doing a good job. He's trying to see what's going on. He counts. Ackerman's pinned him for about 10 seconds here. If the ref isn't counting it.
Let me get him, Ack. Let me get him. Ack, I want him. Come on, Ack.
Luxury Lane anxious to get in on Madman. Luxury hasn't tagged though.
Our camera's not following the action here. There we go.
Madman is in pain. Luxury Lane flies over and whips him down. Takes Ace and whips him down on Madman Nash. Oh, he's hammering on him. All four men are in the ring. Ref has to get things in order.
Come on,
Yeah, they get pissed.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the thing. This is the problem with doing these as shoots. And, you know, we eventually figured this out, but
Tries to get Ace down. Ace. And he does. And he tags. Luxury Lane storms in on the ring. Takes down Ace. Drags him across.
so,
the
you
ring,
know,
picks him back up.
yeah, you start wanting to win those belts, and it all comes down to wanting to win it.
In the corner. He's got the ropes. The ref breaks him up. 1 minute left.
No! Next time we do things, we got 2 minutes.
Alright, fine. 2 minutes. Give me a minute here. I must okay.
Plus, they seem to get a little rougher in the
Yeah,
shoot matches.
especially when you get to the end of them like this. So that you try to do is like Lane's trying to just get him to submit, you know, because you figure it's so hard to get him to get pinned. So you just try to get him to give up.
That's too bad.
But Mike's arguing with me to extend the match. And I'm telling him, Mike, I gotta stick to the time limit. You heard me outside the
Nice
ring.
Kick to the chest. Another returns the favor. Seems to be quite a little bit of conflict here. All wrestlers getting very angry at each other.
You think?
30 seconds left. Ref needs to get things in order here. Come on, ref. Come on, ref, throw the match out.
they should have threw the match off for sure.
To get things
Oh, yeah. I fully agree.
We got 10 seconds left. Somebody's got a pin.
9, 8,
Mike's getting mad.
7,
To the ref. I'm surprised
6,
the ref hasn't done any
5, 4,
5 seconds
3,
left.
2,
4,
1.
3, 2, 1. That's the bell. We have a draw.
We off? We still on.
The fisherman wins! We won!
That's gonna have to give me this.
I want to say something right now. Roberts is dead next show. He cut my lip right open and it hurts, and if I have to get stitches, he's dead. I've had enough of this crap. I can't even wrestle anymore today. I'm pissed.
Now that right there, Dave, got us suspended off the airwaves for 2 weeks by Scott Tronson.
Pop some pimples out your butt.
Yep. Back in the 80s, they were real strict about language.
Yep, pissed was a word you couldn't say,
Mass disqualification on that last match.
at least according to Scott.
Anyways, to join back in, we're gonna have going to next match a lightweight, heavyweight tag team spectacular, Superfly Rich and Mean Dean to go against Luxury Lane and the Dynamite Dude. Let's go into that match.
Yeah, tempers flew in that one because it was a shoot match and title matches, you know. We got another one coming up. Ref Faust Roberts and Ace, it'll be another shoot. You know, so after a match like that, tempers are still flaring. So we'll probably see when this match gets started.
Here we are live
You
with
know.
the next match with Superfly and Mean Dean. They're coming in the ring now, folks, and they are BSing Luxury Lane and Dynamite Dude.
Alright, Luxury!
Take it over, Luxury.
Come on, Dynamite. We're gonna beat him. Yep. I had a match with you. You're down. We're gonna win. As far as you're concerned, you're down too. Nope. No. That match we had, you didn't pin my shoulder was. Give me that microphone. You don't deserve to talk. Okay, we know that you guys are little wimps. That's all. They're wimps. They're nothing compared to us.
See the problem with doing shoot matches, Dave?
Yep.
Yep.
The tempers get a little hot.
Yep.
They're going to it.
But at least in a match like this when it's not a shoot, you'll see a little bit more professional style stuff, you know.
Alright, here we go. We've got a reference in the ring here. There's been quite a bit of conflict between matches, but I can't say what's going on because that is
I think I just heard Steve Engstrom say he's going to ref.
what's going to be happening in future shows. As you know, Crusher Crossen made a threat to me that I'm gonna be dead. We'll see about that in some matches. I already heard him once. I can hear him again. Okay,
Roberts.
now to the match here, or some action.
I already heard him once, I can hear him again.
We had a little league and major league combined here. Then my dude gives a clothesline to Mean Dean.
You know, Chuck Roberts, Ref Faust Roberts, you know, no longer with us. He passed away young,
Superfly Rich.
32 I think he was when he died.
Oh, and he misses the
Sad to hear.
Good move by
Yeah.
Superfly.
So a long time ago, though, it was several, 20 years ago or so, but yeah, just substance abuse with him.
Kicks him in the back of the legs.
I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I know it was that, whether it was steroids or whatever's
Dynamite Dude's out.
got the best of him.
Lane and
Yeah, those demons can get the best of people. We've seen it way too many times in the world of pro wrestling.
Irish whip into the ropes. Clothesline knocks him down to the mat. Drags him across the ring.
There's a current performer I keep waiting to hear is
He's gonna try something. Superfly Rich
no longer going to be with
can
us.
defend himself now.
What's that?
Oh, there's a current performer I keep expecting to hear is no longer with us because he keeps having bouts with his
Irish
demons.
whip into the ropes.
Talking about superstar Billy Graham?
No, younger superstar
Younger?
than Super. Yeah.
I know Superstar's fighting.
Oh, yeah, he's been fighting for a while, though.
Yeah.
More obscene jesters in the ring here.
Yeah, the ring,
Camel clutch here.
and so you see Steve reffing. Remember now, Steve said he was 16 years old when he came into this show today. And
Right.
you can see he's got a super
Here,
clean
here's
shave,
my opponent.
right?
Let's see
You look
what
at his
for
face.
once, right?
Sure. I wanna match
And
with you.
kind of
Next
messed
match.
up hair to kind of
If
make
we don't
him
get
look
this
a
match, I
little
want it next.
like younger, I
Charlie-
guess.
I mean, luxury
Yep.
tags with
So, what was he supposed to do, I guess, right? If he's going to say he's 16, he's got to play the part till he gets busted with it.
Taking slaps to the head of Mean Dean. Oh, tries to tag with luxury, but cannot get it. Mean Dean on the bottom of this finally tags with luxury lane. Oh, and it looks like he's gonna work over the arms. Yes, he does. He puts him in a full.
This is a mixed match, lightweights and heavyweights together.
And that injury.
Mike thought I was in a bad mood. I said, no, I'm not in a bad mood. My lip hurts and I just don't want to talk. And that was the truth. My lip was just killing me.
Oh, I can imagine.
Tries for a pin.
Yeah.
No, he cannot. Oh, he's a headbutt to the ref.
Having put my tooth through it.
Tries to put him in a full Nelson. Does not succeed.
I mean, it really, Dave, you could see a hole. I could have put like a fish string through it. And
Trying to for a pin, but cannot
it's
get
just,
it.
it's just disgusting.
Mean Dean's pants fall down.
Cracked my tooth, too.
He gets out of the ring.
Still have it, though. I still have that tooth and it's still cracked, but,
On Superfly Rich. Good. Oh.
you know, there's like a hairline crack in it.
Turnbuckle.
Yep.
Or if you call them turnbuckles. Super D. Oh, standing on the shoulders of Superfly Rich. Mean Dean comes in, pushes.
Sounds like Andrew
Superfly
Carlson
Rich.
commentating now.
And now for more commentary by Allison Givens.
Adam not quite doing the Boston Crab correctly.
Exactly. That could have turned into a pinning
Yeah, folks, the Superfly,
situation
Madman
for him.
Nash and Mean
Yeah.
Dean and Luxury Lane. Luxury Lane and Madman Nash are dominating. I knew that. Oh, now Superfly takes.
But again, it was our very first taping in the garage, and we're, you know, lots to grow with in here, though. But
Just takes a blow
Still figuring things out.
lower level.
yeah, those title matches being shoots, though, it'll all come to a head with me and Kelsey. You know, another 3 or 4 months later from this point.
Oh, and Superfly is down. Oh, Dynamite is. Oh, good move by Dynamite, dude. Luxury comes out now.
And that was the last time we did shoot matches, you know.
Only Ackerman comes in now. Oh, Mean Dean just took a. Tries to
Trying to kick and he fell on his
slide over
rear
Luxury,
end.
but- Oh, they got him in midair. Luxury is just.
So yeah, Mean Dean was Andrew Carlson's, Ace Andrew Carlson's younger brother.
Strong.
Him and Rough Ryan became a tag team for a while.
One, folks. Very interesting. Oh, the Ackerman's sitting over there.
You know, I think the ref needs to gain more control in this match.
Yeah, Steve's being pretty relaxed here.
And Robbie Jacob. We have Robbie Jacob here. He is a former wrestler.
So yeah, Jackknife Jacob, Rob Jacob, in attendance at this show after he was, you know, kicked off by me.
Oh, and
He actually showed up here. They were there to see Charlie.
Whoa, they go loud.
So very strange to see Rob here because feelings were still pretty
Raw.
raw, and I think the camera gets a shot of him here actually.
Robbie Jacobs over there chowing down at McDonald's. But this guy is down. Oh, and it goes out of the ring. Oh, almost. And Dynamite. Oh, that is painful to the eyes. Throws him against the ropes. And Dynamite. Oh, and Superfly takes Dynamite. dude
Episode
down.
7.
Dynamite is out
Um,
Oh,
Episode 7's an interesting show. It's one of the only full shows we got at the Group W Studios without ropes.
folks.
Real early show.
Right.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. More NWF action. We're going to join to our main event. Ace, the current NWF champion, is going to face off against Rep House Roberts. Let's go to the match to LA.
So here comes that other shoot match now. Roberts and Ace for the NWF title. And remember, Chuck had amateur wrestling background, so he knew how to wrestle. That's
Right.
when you're doing shoot matches. That doesn't play well if you don't and somebody else does.
Vince, Ace, the champion of the world. That shouldn't be, but he is the champion.
That's the old TWA belt.
Maybe not after this match against.
I believe the
Roberts.
next
Do you really think
show.
he can win?
No, not the next one. There's a few more shows. Steve makes us that nice blue belt that I got back there in the shelf.
And I want to win this one fair and square, and I plan to.
Right back.
And I have over
If you're gonna win it fair and square, then why don't we?
to my right.
You can't go on the ropes.
Yep.
No. Anyways, Rough House, I know you're gonna win this, but how do you
What
feel about
Crossen
this?
says,
Anyway?
stay clean. Clean.
You just don't go on the ropes too much.
All right, well, let's just get the match on the way here.
Okay. And here's.
You know, in a way, these shoot matches were kind of like a boxing match. Like, you don't know what's going to happen here, you know?
Tell me again.
But,
You know, I hate to say it, but I just noticed something that kind of gave away that this wasn't LA.
Rough House.
what's that? Oh, the Anoka.
There's right now
Anoka.
they're pretty equal.
Anoka
Jersey?
hockey.
In blue,
Yep.
Yeah.
Ace in the maroon. Oh, you're good. Shut up. And anyways, okay, now there's wrestling around on the ground. Rough House on top. Seems to be having like a choke.
So I just got confirmation from Jason Klassen. He says that mark him down for next week. So we'll see how it
Okay.
goes.
Okay, Rough House.
Hopefully he can make that one.
On top, Ace is down.
So,
So, Gabriel, we won't be doing your request next week, but it will come down the road.
yeah. The show we were going to do tonight, we're going to do next week
And,
with Jason.
Right.
Okay. Rough House out there having a good time. Just knowing that he can win.
So
this
Roberts
match.
figures he's going to make him submit if he can.
There was a submission move, but Ace,
See, Chuck is just bigger, he's stronger,
the ref.
and he uses all that.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, and here's some more commentary by Allison Givens.
Okay, here we are live.
You know, it seems like some of the guys
Ace Carlson.
seem to be smitten a little bit.
This is for
What do you
the
mean?
title, folks. This is a great match. If you want to see some great wrestling, you come to
Well,
the
you know, a
ring
bunch of guys,
and watch it here with Ruffles, Roberts,
only one girl there. It
Ace
seems
Carlson.
like a lot of the guys
Ace is
were
in the
trying to
blue,
get her
and as
attention.
you know it, Ace is
You
in the
think?
maroon.
All teenagers?
Oh, yeah.
Of course that's happening.
He is dominating.
As much as I liked Allison doing the guest commentating, she really kind of became a distraction.
Carlson is
Right.
extremely pained.
I think that's what you're referring to.
Now they're up, and they are mad. They are feisty. And now, Ruffle. Oh, and that Ace, he's a quick.
And Allison, she's just trying to do as good a job as she can, you know,
He is quick.
calling all the action. And
Seen each other
Yep.
there. Ace is trying to pull him over the ring here, and they're gonna try the body slam, but it does not work. Oh, Ruffles is on top of him. This is a great
Ace
match,
tried to
folks.
grab
This
those
is for the
ropes.
title. Oh,
so Chuck knows that he has to get him away from the
Carlson,
edge
he
of
is
that
so
ring if
quick.
he's going to have any
It's
chance.
hard to pin him.
Right.
You
Because
don't know
Andrew
how
is the
hard it to
king
pin
of
old
grabbing the ropes. We're going to talk to him about that when we get him on here.
There's 2 minutes left in the match. Oh, and Ruffles is on Carlson.
Get a count of one.
Count of 1. Count of 2.
Yeah, that's what these shoot matches.
Ruffles is on top of him.
Yeah, I was just reading that. That's what these shoot matches were like, really.
Rough House now.
I'll see Ace has got the ropes, so I don't know why Steve's not breaking it.
Rough House getting mad. Ace, I think he has a problem. He always seems seems to get his body on the rope so that the opponent has to break the hold. I don't think he could win otherwise.
See, Mike is still sour over that match that happened in the studio where he couldn't beat Andrew because he kept grabbing the ropes.
Okay.
That we talk about in the documentary.
Yep.
Has been in control of this match the whole way through. The ref giving a count of 1. 1 minute left.
So you got 1 minute to go, so things are going to start firing up here.
Better get down to business right now. Listen to me, ref out. Thank you, okay. Ref out. Ooh, getting another count of 1. Ref out, winning the belt.
Fair and square. Legitimate.
Right in the center of the ring.
And I go in there and try to talk. I told Steve to reverse it, saying he was in the ropes. Chuck knows what I'm up to.
So you're not the ref, Sean. How you feel to be the new champ? Well, I won. I know. We all know you won, except for his side. You are the champion. Don't worry.
You bet.
We'll get this cleared away. How do you feel about this?
Great. How would you feel if you got it?
Okay.
To see how Wally feels about this.
Wally?
What are you trying to get something you don't
Referring to Wally Carbo.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah, lots of animosity there in these shoot matches.
We're running out of time for today's show. Rough House Roberts, the new NWF champion. So long. We're gonna take our way back. We're back from LA. We're more on all this information that's happened today on next week's show. Take her away.
So, for 1 week, Chuck was the champion, and then I kept. What happened was during the week between shows, I kept pleading with Chuck and said, "Chuck, come on, man, you got to give the belt back. It wasn't right. It didn't. He had his. I was convincing Chuck that he had the ropes or something, and finally Chuck just goes, "All right, if you want me to give it back to him that bad, I'll give it back." So he agreed to give the title back to Andrew the following week. Deep down, I just wasn't ready for a title change like that. So, there comes the ending credits now. So, shoot matches, yeah, we want to be fair, but at the same time, I'm like, part of me is thinking, I don't like doing it this way. So, we go a few more months like this, but then when me and Kelsey have that title match and all hell breaks loose, then I really realize we cannot do this anymore like this. It's just not looking right. It's not there's friendships getting destroyed. I mean, we just can't do that.
Right.
Matt was so mad at me when that title match we had, Dave, that for a month he didn't talk to me.
Which for you two is highly unusual.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine? So and I'm thinking to myself, and that's when I realized after that match, we'll have to do that show one of these days so we can watch that match. But that's when I realized we cannot do title matches as shoots. This isn't working. And we need to start doing this the right way,
Yep.
And the matches became a lot more entertaining then after we finally got rid of those shoot matches. And we had 2 of them on here, and you've seen the tempers flare in both of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad it wasn't that way when I joined.
No, but you had people that were stiff every now and then. That you had to work with. Tim Holland comes to mind, Thandar.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
It was just his style.
Right, it was his style, but it was. I had a match with him. We went a lot, 10 minutes, and it was nose to nose. It was rough.
Yep.
But problem with me and him is our egos were getting in the way in that match. And I think you were in Florida for that one, but you weren't there at that taping. But
I've heard stories.
Yeah, it's a good match actually for being a rough match. It was actually pretty entertaining, but he wasn't the only one. There were other guys that were rough and tumblers, you know. Todd Chester, Chuck Roberts' partner, Todd
Yep.
Bod. He was a rough one. So there was others. Brian Peterson always was rough. You know, some guys it's just their way. It's kind of their style. And
Right.
so, like I said, Jason Klassen I got some confirmation while we were watching that show. He was supposed to be our guest this week, and he is actually couldn't. There was just some problems that took place. He was on the road, and he couldn't get back in time to do this live stream. He said to mark him down for next week, so we're going to shoot for next week with Jason and do that show next week.
All right.
So,
And if he's watching, maybe we can hear a little Mick Wellerman next week.
yeah, I got a little surprise footage, as I always do, where if he doesn't remember Mick Weller, he will. So I got, you know, all the faces of Jason Klassen, kind of a little summary of it, so we can kind of see a little bit of that next week. And that's one, Dave. I'm not going to worry about the copyright infringement notices. We may get flagged on that one because Rattlesnake Jake's entrance music was such a part of his character. I can't bring it down. You know, so we got to hear it. So if we get flagged, we get flagged. It's not a big deal if you get flagged. I just don't like getting flagged. You know. So hopefully everybody enjoyed that show from the garage. That was the very first garage taping we ever did with the league. 2 new wrestlers on that. Well, a bunch of new wrestlers on that show. You had Bullet Shot Glenn, who came from Minneapolis, watched us in UC videos Saturday morning. They did a Saturday morning kid variety show, and we were part of it.
Right.
That's how he joined. Mr. X, Steve Engstrom, joined.
Yep.
We had Mean Dean, Andrew's younger brother, coming on. Ryan Givens, friend in the neighborhood. Great Givens, his first and only appearance. And I think that's all of them that were new. So Chuck Roberts won the title for a week. It's kind of an AWA type thing, don't you think, Dave?
Oh, yeah.
Man, talk about backdoor politics. I guess the AWA influence had more ways than one on me in that deal.
Well, we thank you for joining us.
Yep. Thanks for watching this week. And like I said, we planned to have Jason, so tune in next week for Jason Klassen as we go back to Fred Moore Junior High with Jason for studio taping 59, I believe, on next week's show.
And mark your calendars. If I remember correctly, the date's going to be May 11th.
Yep.
It's basically going to be an open mic night here.
Yeah, open mic. Meaning we're going to give you the guest link, and as fans of the show, fans of the NWF, former alumni, you're all welcome to come in. We can bring up to 10 people. So, you know, and if it's full, it'll end up, as we drop people, other people will come, it'll open up. So it's going to be kind of an open thing. So
now, are we going to do the full 2-hour show? Or are we just going to do...
Oh, yeah, it'll be the full 2-hour Armory card. So it'll be a longer night. It's the first Armory card we did, and man, lots of excitement on that one. You were there, Dave.
Oh, yeah. If I remember correctly, was it on that show that we had a couple returns? You know, people that hadn't been on the show for a while? And
yeah, the Ring Warriors came back. Chuck Roberts, we just seen win the title. Him and his partner, Todd Chester, came back in. The Ring Warriors, they came back and returned. But they came to a couple Fred Moore tapings first.
Right.
I told them I want them to be established a little bit, not just jumping into the Armory.
Right.
But yeah, they were kind of, you could say they were returning in a way. But so that's a pretty kind of a neat example. So Chuck and Todd had been off the show, but then they seen that we're doing the Anoka Armory, and like they talked to each other like, damn, that's cool. We got to get on that Armory card. They wanted, they still wanted to do it.
Right.
And I said, and I kind of gave that little stipulation. I said, yeah, you're more than welcome to, but you're not just going to jump into the Armory. You need to get your feet wet at Fred Moore. You need to do a couple tapings leading up to it so we can promote you.
Right.
So that's kind of my little stipulation I made, and they were cool with that. So, but yeah, good show though tonight. I'm glad we were able to make a substitution and hold off for Jason next week with the Fred Moore taping that we're gonna watch, but we'll watch it next week.
Alrighty. Well, that's the thing about the NWF. We change on the fly, and you never know what you're gonna get with us.
And I want to thank Tom Hubin and David Hilt, some of our regulars. Gabriel
Welcome in,
Henrik.
Gabriel.
Is Henrik, I think I'm pronouncing it right.
Yep.
Joining in with us and chatting along. We'll do studio taping 7. I'm okay with that. One of these days we'll roll that one. It's going to be real early stuff. That's one of the first. That's show number 7, Dave. It's early.
Yep. And for just in case people haven't done it yet, if you like the show, click like, click the subscribe, click the bell.
Yep. It always helps us out.
Well, it helps us out, and it lets you know when we're going live.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
You
Clicking
know,
that bell.
Lets you know when we're putting stuff out there, because sometimes Crusher likes to drop a video without notifying anybody.
That I do. And another thing, Dave, that I also want to, we've kind of been trying to promote it. I made a special video on it even, but join our Facebook group if you haven't already. It's very easy to find, just that link, or if you're on Facebook, just type NWF Wrestling, all one word like that. If you type that in the search on Facebook, keep it one complete word, NWF Wrestling, it'll take you right to our group. Under groups, it'll come up. And then you can join our Facebook group. And that's another way. When you join the Facebook group, you'll know when we go live as well.
And don't forget to visit the website.
Yep, the NWFwrestling.org for all merchandise and NWF information. We're still working on that. I want to get that finished more, but it's kind of a work in progress. And for those of you that Tom Hewin, you joined us on Facebook, but we didn't recognize you. If you do this is a once and done thing, but if you go do this once, then we'll recognize you on Facebook right away when you comment.
Right.
Just a FYI. So anybody who's on Facebook, you want to do this. It's a kind of you do it one time and it's good forever, but it'll basically gives Facebook permission to share your username, so that when we put your comment up, we know who it is from. It won't just say Facebook user.
Right.
Dave, can you show them one? Do we have a comment?
Like right here.
Yeah, Facebook
user. Facebook user. If you click that, your name will pop up, and
come up properly.
We can identify you.
So I should be pointing that out every show, but yeah, that's something you definitely want to do if you're going to watch on Facebook. So I think that's it for tonight, Dave. We usually go about an hour and a half. But remember, when we do the May 11th show, it'll be a longer show. It'll be definitely 2 hours, because that's a big card.
Yeah, this was kind of like, this card was kind of like our WrestleMania for.
At a limited,
for us,
for us, yes, for sure. Our first live event. And we didn't know what to expect. I was thinking maybe 60 or 70 people, hopefully, because that's what we sold in advance tickets. Maybe 100, I'm hoping. I'm just hoping, of course. Yep. And then 350 people show up. Yeah, almost sold out. So.
It wasn't until Dixie Dave appeared on a show that you got it sold out.
We did eventually sell out the Armory. Dave, I'm proud to say, we're the only wrestling organization that has ever sold out the Anoka Armory out of the wrestling events that have taken place in there. There have been other independent leagues that have tried to do the Armory after us. They never sold it out. Matter of fact, I'm not ripping on these guys, but it was about 20 years ago, but some independent league went in there and they had about the crowd we had in the July card. our worst night in the Armory is what they had for their independent show.
Right.
So, and I say that very proudly because, you know, we worked hard to do those Armory cards. You know?
And it was all of us putting in our time and effort trying to sell tickets, and
A lot of work. You know, getting advertisers, putting posters up all over town. And nobody told us how to do this. I just figured, you know, it was like almost a common sense thing. You got to get the word out. So we got to put posters up. And I didn't have any money to pay for the Armory, so I'm like, how are we going to get money? Okay, let's get sponsors. We'll put them in the program guide. You know, I seen the All-Star Wrestling program guide having ads. I'm thinking we can do the same thing. So this is how I kind of put it together, you know. And one thing led to another, and it just all kind of worked out for us. It's just the right time, the right place. Thank God they didn't ask for insurance, because that would have killed it. It just worked. You know, another thing too, and I was going to say, Dave, before we go, another thing we're talking about doing, maybe see what the viewers think about this, but some of the alumni have asked, like Kelsey, maybe doing like a panel with a lot of us former kids or, you know, now adults to come on as a panel, kind of like a live roundtable on the, you know, just to come on and talk about, you know, different stories and stuff.
Right.
A group of us. And I think that's a cool idea.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows what everybody else, you know, I can only remember what I remember, but I'm sure like Matt's going to have things he remembers. You remember different things. It'd be kind of cool to get some of those stories out.
You know.
Yeah, Jamie. You know, thing with Jamie McParland, the fascinating story with him was the fact that he slept over at Eddie Sharkey's house.
Exactly.
You know, what are the odds of that? You know, and it was because he didn't have a ride home, and Eddie, just being a nice guy, said, you can stay at my place.
Yeah, that's one of my memories of Ed Sharkey back when you and Troy were wrestling for Ed Sharkey. Eddie was so nice and down to earth.
Very down to earth, very nice, very complimentary. The only beef I had with Eddie, that when Troy and I did our first match, we did a very fast-paced action. If you watch that first match we did at George's and Fridley, it was fast-paced. We did that on purpose because that was a new trend. Those kind of like the Lucha Libre style matches, they were just kind of starting out. And Troy and I wanted to do some kind of be trendy. We wanted to do something different, you know. And Eddie was old school, and he's like, you got to slow it down. You need to have rest points. This was way too fast. Even though the fans loved it.
Yep.
But old school Eddie Sharkey, yeah, he gave us a little reprimand there. He's like, you gotta slow it down. And I didn't want to argue with him because it's his show, you know. It's not my league. I'm just I'm a wrestler at this point. So I'm like, okay. So we worked out, Troy and I worked out a match the style that he wanted for our next one. But
right.
When I look back at that match now, maybe we'll do a watch along with that one of these days. I'm thinking we were really on the cutting edge. We're trying to be the way the matches eventually went. You know?
That's the thing. The NWF, you know, this may just be me trying to toot the NWF horn, but the NWF was cutting edge for what it was. I mean,
yeah, back in that day.
Feud.
Yeah, the Family Feud matches, which became the Survivor Series years later in the WWE. WWF. We called it a Family Feud match, but it was the same elimination style 10-man tag. Yeah.
We, back in '86, were talking about doing a card that was everything was inside of the steel cage.
Yep, Star Cage '87. Got all the promos for it.
Yep.
And the only reason that never happened was because I realized that was one of those times where you bit off more than you could chew. And I realized fencing panel is way too expensive. We cannot afford to build a cage.
Exactly.
So we cannot do that, but I wanted to do it. I wanted every match to be a cage match. Because my thinking is, what kind of attraction would that draw? I mean, I would think a lot of people, you know, because cage matches were kind of cool. It's like, back in the day, like, they're going to have a cage match. All right. But it was one match. I'm thinking, why don't we do the whole card cage matches. That was my thinking.
Yep.
You know, so
And come around years later, Impact Wrestling, as it's known as now, started their lockdown show,
yep,
which
Dusty
is
Rhodes.
a full night of cage matches.
I remember Brian Zane, when I did the interview with him on Wrestling with Regret, pointed that out to me, and I didn't realize it at the time. But I'm thinking, oh, there's another little thing that we did that we thought of first, anyway. But not that Dusty heard us and said, "I'm going to take the NWF's idea. We're going to do all cage." I mean, we were just a spec, right? But it's just cool to tongue in cheek talk about it today, you know, that in that respect.
And it just kind of shows how cutting edge we were. I mean, you know, we were talking about doing it back in '87, and 20 years later, it took for a company to finally go through and do it.
And there's other things too. I mean, I'm trying to remember all the things. There was other things that we did too that I realized happened later on, and little things, you know. But yeah, but that's the thing, you know. As kids running this league, you know, what you're watching is the big leagues. You know, you're watching the big three. At least for me, it was the big three: AWA,
Right.
NWA, WWF. And I'm watching all three of them, and I'm thinking, what can I take from this one? What can I take from that one? What are none of them doing that we could do to stand out? That was always the thinking. Like, that's why I want to do the all cage thing, because I'm thinking, we got to stand out. In the first few Armory cars, I did $50 cash drawings because I wanted to be their incentive for people to buy tickets.
To show up.
Yep. But then what I did, Dave, is I sold more tickets for the drawing. For another 50 cents, you can get another ticket to go on the raffle. So we gained a little bit more money that way, right? I was always thinking, you know, and those program guides we sold, in the first Armory card, I didn't do concessions. I had the Blaine's Johnsville Lions Club come in and sell our concessions. And then I watched how they made a bunch of money. I'm thinking, no, we're doing this next time. We're going to do concessions. Because I thought that was a lost avenue. I could have made money there, you know?
Yep.
And I watched how much money they made selling hot dogs and popcorn and all that stuff. So, yeah. But anyways, I suppose we should let it go. It was fun. Yeah, but, I guess we can call this NWF After Hours, a little bit of chit-chat after. But
exactly.
Yeah, so we will be back next week live again Thursday. And you know, sounds like it's going to be a good one with Jason. It sounds like he can make it. So Jason Klassen, hopefully next week is our special guest, and we'll watch that Fred Moore taping.
All right. Until next week, folks, we'll see you then.